This ship holds some of the most hardened criminals that all West has ever seen. Tora. He's a big fluffball who created a, in my opinion, very bad video game. The in-game video game within the very good video game. You get what I mean. Hey, welcome back to more Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time we rescued Drillmark from the ship that we finally got into, and this time we're gonna make our way out towards Nia, who is apparently right above us, but of course it's not gonna be quite that easy. Right away, we have a couple of lads for us. I will be just straight up, throughout the entire course of the game, I will likely not be playing as Tora terribly much. I don't know. A lot of his movesets and skill sets I don't think are very good. I mean, like, again, I mentioned this before, his second and third blades you don't unlock for a while. His third blade is pretty good, but again, that's an issue where you don't unlock his third blade until well, the way that we're going to run it, we're not going to unlock his third blade until post-game. Just because the point where it becomes available is really deep into the story, and it's at a point of you can return later, but I feel like narratively it's at a point of no return, so yeah. We will not be getting Tora's third blade until after the main story has finished. We'll still have plenty of things to do afterwards. Of course, some of that is dependent on what blades we end up getting, what rare blades we end up getting throughout the course of the game. Some of that will depend on, you know, who has what, depends on a bunch of different things, basically. But we can go and climb our way up. For pulling that valve, we can snag this treasure chest, have a little bit of money, as well as a couple of mid-tier things. This valve requires super strength and focus. One thing to note, it's not really too notable for Tora, because he will always have his blades equipped, but you cannot equip the main blades of your party members. So, for example, when we pick up Nia, we're not going to be able to de-equip Drillmark. We are not able to de-equip Pyra from Rex. Again, it doesn't really matter for Tora. Yeah. I believe it is in New Game Plus you can, and that does add a few things in. Oh, that's the one thing I just remembered. We actually are going to need to go into New Game Plus. That's gonna take a while. Ah, well. We'll end up having to do New Game Plus because there are quite a few things that are New Game Plus exclusive. Xenoblade 3 did a pretty good job where they didn't really have anything that was New Game Plus exclusive. Not so much in 2. In 2, you have, I think, 3 exclusive blades. 3 exclusive blades. You have the ability to de-equip, which does actually have a little bit of flavor things involved with it. Nothing required, but still. We'll pop on into the mess hall and start beating up all the people inside. We're gonna give them knuckle sandwiches. Yeah. Like, you know, knuckle sandwich with a punching, but sandwich, it's food. One thing that I haven't really noted, the charge of arts goes based off of your auto attacks, as well as canceling will also do so respectively. Things that attack more often will have higher recharges. It ends up usually being roughly the same. There's a couple of weapon types that will not get any, oh my god, there's a couple of weapon types that end up not grabbing you any, that are pretty slow, I should say. There we go. And grabbing you some pretty, I think what the wording I was going for is ends up grabbing you some slow arts. There's a couple different weapon types that will do that, but generally speaking, they all are roughly the same. Things like Knuckle Claws are they'll have like 11 recharge, whereas the Aegis Sword has like 6 recharge. It's because the Knuckle Claws attack twice per hit. It is also hits that actually connect. That's actually, I think, where the main difference in how quickly you end up getting your arts comes in. Some weapons are just very inactive, especially in the hands of Rex. Just keep bopping here. One thing that will be a little bit, well, I'll be able to note this. That's just a good question if I want to do that. But who is equipping what blade matters a decent bit more than who has what class in 3. It's not a massive change, and it's not for individual characters. Basically, we'll potentially be able to see this, I should say. But, male drivers and female drivers actually have different art setups. So, the arts that Rex has on his Great Axe will be different from the arts that Nia will have on a Great Axe. So, that is something to keep in mind. It's not the most used, it's not generally that big. There's a couple of arts that are very, very good that are only one certain way, but, you know. We'll be able to clear this lad out pretty soon. I think he is a sergeant, so he's taking a little bit of HP. You're done! Don't forget. There was a patch at some point where they fixed up the lines because Ardanian soldiers really like spamming some of their lines. Much to the amusement of people. There was, don't forget! Don't forget! You're done! You're done! Don't forget! I am going to be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Moving along, we've already cleared out the mess hall, but there's more that we can take care of. In here we got a nice little living quarters. This place can be a little bit annoying because the guy that just walked out on the other end is a scout. Generally speaking, I think there might be a few quote-unquote scout-type enemies that don't say scout name, but I think all of them do. But basically what scout enemies will do is they will run to the nearest big group of enemies, and they will alert them to your presence. Most of the time, this isn't the worst thing in the world to deal with, but there's definitely instances where this can cause a lot of problems. Drill our way in. Oh, actually, there's one other thing that I want to take care of. Clear that out. As part of... Hello, sir. As part of the DLC, it's very weird that they have this. We can go... Hold up. We go into our system and our options. We start with the game on normal difficulty. However, with the DLC, they added in Bringer of Chaos difficulty. I do not know exactly what the parameters are on Bringer of Chaos. However, there is also a custom difficulty. I may finagle with the custom difficulty at some point. I'm going to try and Bringer of Chaos for a little bit. I'm generally not the biggest fan of the hardest difficulties in these games. Yeah, so right there we have the scout enemy who just alerted the other guy there to our presence. And generally, I'm not the biggest fan of the highest difficulties in these games, just because they end up just kind of becoming very spongy. So, yeah. Which, that's actually something that I'm very grateful that they do have the custom difficulty for. Again, I might toy around with it a little bit, so maybe if I still feel like the enemies on Bringer of Chaos end up being very just overly tanky, I could find out what their equivalents are on custom difficulty, and just maybe do that, but bump down the enemy HP by a decent bit. Not like a ton, but also, one thing that is very, actually kind of nice on custom difficulty is that you can really make the game a complete cakewalk. You're not going to be able to, like, if we put it to as easy as possible, we're not going to be able to beat Territorial Rock Bard or anything like that, but you can really clear out a lot if you bump all the enemy things down to 0 and all of the ally things up to max. You can really speed through the game. I will just say right now, there are going to be points where I will use that for grinding. It's not grinding for, grinding levels. I don't think we'll really need to do that. But it's for grinding down... Just get our upgrades in. It's for grinding up our, words, man.
That's about that.
I am so good at this. It's not for, like, grinding levels. It's gonna be grinding, core crystals. And also some core chips at a later point. So, yeah. I'm gonna start getting a few things on here. The most important things are always going to be getting your driver arts at the start of battle. We'll start grabbing a couple of these. And that should be good. Just a few. We still do have a few more items. We have the sick bay right here. I'm surprised that they're not aggroing easier. The Ardanian Rot is actually a pretty interesting enemy because it's kind of strong. You can easily have problems with Ardanian Rots. Plunging Fang hits for a decent bit. Let's bonk, bonk, bonk. Get some nice AoE aggro in from the hands of Toro, the wings of Toro. He's holding with both his hands and his wings. I do like the fact that Toro does actually, like, use his... Like, the Knock-On actually using their wings is something that I really enjoy. Okay, this is a problem. And, okay, so right now the issue isn't so much the damage output or anything like that. It's our specials recharging and stuff like that. Aggro and... Okay. Oh my lord. There we go. I still have to get used to some of the controls on here. Of course, you can always run away and just whee! I feel like you move really fast when you're running away, but could just be placebo. That's how it's pronounced. Yeah. I think maybe between episodes I might end up finding some good custom difficulty sliders. It's really weird to think about sliders in a non-sports game, but I mean, when you have custom difficulties, you're gonna get something like that. Grab ourselves a bronze chip, which is very good for this early on in the game. And generally speaking, you're going to want to put your best chips onto Pyra. Her crit rate does take a massive dip here, but Pyra is one of the best blades in the game, so keeping her as strong as possible is always a good thing.
No doubt about it. That's the place.
Who are you people? They're the terrorist friends.
We are her friends, but I won't let you call her a terrorist.
Don't forget about Percival, he's here too. Unlike in Xenoblade 3, you can't really manage tactics terribly well. Which is a shame, but still. Actually, we go you. I think you can manage some tactics, but it's not a lot. Ugh. We are not raking in that XP. I think one of the big things that they give you Knuckle Claws is that Rex, I think he has a break guard with Knuckle Claws. I might be confusing it with his, okay, I'm gonna switch back to normal. I might be confusing it with his Great Axe. But one thing that is always good to note is what availability you have for your combos. This will be a lot more prevalent once we have Nia, but the interesting thing with this game is, of course, I mentioned before, depending on what characters you have, they'll have different arts available. And a really nice little detail is that I think, aside from Tora, who, of course, you need to have the final blade, who is one of the most rare blades. Well, not rare, but you can't get her until very late. But no one has, again, aside from Tora, no one has the capability of doing a combo all by themselves. I think Rex can get close. I believe he can end up doing everything but launch. No, Rex might. Can Rex do everything by himself? I don't remember. I'm trying to remember through all of Rex's skills. Rex might be able to do everything. He either can't. He might. If there's something he can't do, it's he can't smash. I don't remember if his launch and topple are just the one. I know he has a couple breaks, but I know that there's a couple that I don't remember exactly Rex's capabilities in terms of combo.
Jin?
You alright, Nia?
Rex, you...
My lady, apologies for my late arrival.
Don't mention it. I didn't think anyone was coming at all.
As if we'd leave you. Always help those who help you. That's the second rule of the Salvage's Code.
Well, that's you all over, ain't it?
Rex! Tora has found escape route! Hurry! Hurry!
A Nopon?
He has been of some assistance.
We made a new friend.
Nice to meet you.
Well, I think we've overstayed our welcome here. Time to get moving.
And so, grab Nia. This is what just going into your different classes. Now, I'm actually going to do something a bit different. I'm actually gonna have I think I normally would wait on this a bit. because I know... So, with the DLC, it adds in 2 guaranteed blades. I think we might have gotten a rare one. No, okay. It's what? A ether cannon. But with the DLC, you get 2 guaranteed rare blades, who will be grabbing at a later point. One of them I always put onto Nia, and the other one, it'll be a while before we awaken that second one, but still. We're gonna go a bit over time. I think this gets us into Pity. Might be the next one after this.
I'm Agate. My heart is pure, and my will unbreakable.
This is a really, really weird thing for us. So, the way that the Pity Blades work is, I believe it is in order. So you have your 3 blades, and I believe it is directly in order. Agate is a Pity Blade in groups 1 and 2. Well, in group 1, group 2 is bugged, so it doesn't actually work. But she's not the first, and we don't have the first. This might just be something I don't fully remember, but she may be our Pity Blade for telling us that we're in we're in group 1. Which is it? It's just the Pity Blades that don't work? I don't fully remember. Yeah, okay. Wait. Oh, okay, common. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be in order. And again, Agate is second in line for the most common group. So we don't actually know which one we're in. I think of the groups, or of the ones that we have, it looks like we are most likely in group 1. Agate is in group 1 as a Pity Blade, and Percival is one of the more common ones in group 1. At a 1.6 modifier. And again, if Agate is actually a Pity, then that's a guarantee. She's not the most common, otherwise, but still. I'll take it. I'll take it. We'll quick go into Miss Agate. Really a fan of the Grey Accent. Although this actually does mean that we could show off the difference between them. Again, we're at a little bit of a longer episode, but that's fine. Not gonna worry about that. So if we look at her Nia's Great Axes, she has Brutal Blade, which inflicts topple. Rhino Assault is extra on critical. I think this is on the male's version as well. Bear Smash, extra damage to topple enemies, and a Shadow Slice, extra damage to aquatic. So yeah, you can see that there's a difference between guys and girls who have these equipped. Going into Miss Agate. Go on to Miss Agate. Her level 1 special is Heliodor Passion. Heliodor Passion does extra damage to launched enemies. Damage ratio of 300, 340, 380, 420, 460, and 480. Star Barrel Courage does extra damage to toppled enemies. 400, 440, 480, 520, 560, 580. Rotochrosite Might, extra crit damage. 500, 540, 580, 620, 660, 680. And her level 4 is Invincible Moldavite, which has a damage ratio of 500 and increases damage dealt to toppled enemies by 150%, and also inflicts Blowdown. Razor Sharp Eyelight will also boost the damage by the entire party when at max affinity. It's actually really good. I don't remember if she has to be out in order for this effect to run. That's something I gotta check. The game, if I recall, I think the game really didn't get data dumped for a while, but I might be thinking of 3. Tanzanite Pursuer does extra damage to toppled enemies. Tiger's Eye Record does extra damage to Insect, very situational. Mineralogy, Keen Eye, and Prospecting. Prospecting is exclusive to Agate. And honestly, I don't remember what it does. That's it. It boosts up idea groups, so that's cool. So yeah. Oh, another thing I should always go through is the Aux Cores available. First of all, only 1 Aux Core. Agate does have 2. I believe 3 is the max. A part of me says that there might be 4. Or some that, like 1 or 2 that have 4. I think 3 is the max though, but regardless. Honestly, Agate on Nia, I don't mind. I think it fits fairly well. I'm going to, so, one last thing before we finish off. I am going to try to be assigning blades as I can, based off of characterization. I don't care for, like, meta choices. There's one that's one rare blade that this has become very obvious with the pairing, but Agate and Nia, I can work with that. Regardless, that'll do it for this time, and next time, we make our great escape. But until then, see you guys later!